Beneath the vast Pacific Ocean, shadows drift where satellites cannot see, sliding across currents like silent ghosts. They fly no flags, carry no nation, and answer to no law. Each vessel is handmade, half-submerged, slow and patient, worth more than gold and feared more than storms. This is the world of narco-submarines, a hidden fleet engineered by cartels to transport billions in cocaine across thousands of kilometers of open sea, including secret routes that stretch all the way to Australia. These vessels do not dock. They do not call home. They exist only to disappear. You're watching Crime Cipher, faceless, respectful, relentless. In March 2023, a weather-beaten fishing vessel drifted 500 nautical miles off the Ecuadorian coast. To any passing eye, it appeared ordinary: rusted metal, chipped paint, a tired crew. But beneath its surface lay a secret: a fiberglass hull, twin diesel engines, and a sealed cargo chamber packed tight with 5.8 tons of cocaine bound for Australia. When naval authorities boarded the ship, the crew opened hidden, scuttling valves to sink the evidence. 3 men drowned in the chaos. Yet the cocaine didn't sink. It floated upward, rising like pale specters in the water. Authorities realized this wasn't an isolated smuggling attempt. It was evidence of an enormous, clandestine fleet that had been operating for decades. A navy with no emblem. A trade route with no maps. A criminal economy built beneath the waves. Born under pressure. The origins of narco-submarines stretch back to the 1990s, deep inside Colombia's humid jungle marshlands. As U.S. authorities shut down air trafficking routes across the Caribbean, the cartels were forced to innovate. Their solution was primitive, almost unbelievable. Handmade low-profile vessels crafted from wood, fiberglass, and improvised materials scavenged from farms, sheds, and abandoned workshops. They used garden water pumps for ballast, patched holes with tar and tape, and installed small diesel engines stolen from agricultural machinery. They were crude, unrefined, and often barely held together. Yet they worked. By the early 2000s, the Pacific had become a hidden shipping lane crowded with LPVs riding so low they were almost invisible to radar. Some could travel 6,000 kilometers without stopping. Each launch cost roughly $1 million, but a successful delivery could earn the cartel hundreds of millions. It was the cheapest investment with the highest return in the entire criminal world. The Pacific Highway. As the United States increased its maritime pressure, the Pacific Ocean quietly transformed into a criminal superhighway stretching from Colombia to Mexico and eventually toward the South Pacific. Towns like Tamacau, Buenaventura, and Guayaquil became launching pads for dozens of narco-subs each month. Some boats sailed to Mexico. Others aimed for remote islands like Fiji or Samoa, where they could offload drugs to fishing vessels or corrupt port workers. The boldest journeys, however, continued further, steering toward Western Australia, a coastline so vast that surveillance is nearly impossible to maintain. One of these vessels could carry enough cocaine to flood an entire continent, traveling for thousands of kilometers with no lights, no escort, and no backup. The Pacific, once a barrier, had become the cartel's most reliable road. And that road led directly to Australia, where cocaine fetches some of the highest street prices in the world. The engineers of the Underworld. Behind each narco-submarine is a strange blend of desperation and brilliance. Cartels quietly recruited rogue engineers, Colombian boat builders, Russian machinists, Ukrainian metalworkers, men who once built legitimate vessels but were lured by cartel money. Over time, these workshops transitioned from makeshift sheds to fully equipped jungle shipyards. What gave way to Kevlar, fiberglass evolved into carbon fiber composites, and noisy diesel engines were replaced with quieter hybrids that could run almost silently. Some subs could fully submerge for short periods, relying on snorkel tubes and satellite-linked GPS systems to stay on course. Each vessel became a miniature naval project, built by criminals but engineered with the precision of military contractors. A single submarine could cost $2 million to produce, but returned 20 times that amount upon arrival. In the cartel's logic, these submarines weren't just boats. They were investments with near-infinite yield. The Australian connection. For many years, Australia was considered too far, too risky, and too expensive to reach. But with the explosion of cocaine demand, and with prices nearly triple those in the United States, Australia became the ultimate prize. Cartels began partnering with domestic syndicates, biker groups like Comanchero offshoots, Lebanese import networks, and Asian crime brokers established in Sydney and Melbourne. Encrypted communications intercepted in Operation Hydra revealed detailed plans for narco-sub pickups at sea, where Australian fishing trawlers would collect sealed bales and ferry them to shore. The math was staggering. A $5 million investment in Colombia could be worth over $500 million in Australia. The cartels realized they didn't need to dock in Australian waters. They simply needed to get close enough. The ocean would do the rest. The chase. Detecting a narco-submarine is a nightmare, even for advanced navies. In 2024, a joint task force involving the Australian Federal Police and the U.S. Coast Guard tracked a suspicious semi-submersible near the Galapagos Islands. The pursuit lasted 4 relentless days, with sonar contacts appearing and disappearing like ghosts. When authorities finally intercepted the vessel, the crew attempted to sink it, flooding the interior as a last act of loyalty or desperation. 3 smugglers died with the boat. The seized cargo, 5.6 tons of cocaine, was stamped and packaged specifically for distributors in Australia. This single incident confirmed a disturbing truth. Australia was no longer a distant buyer. It had become a critical node in the global cocaine trade. The cartels controlled the supply. Local syndicates handled distribution. The Pacific handled secrecy. Lives and losses. Behind every submarine lies a grim human story. Most crew members are impoverished fishermen promised a few $1,000s for a journey that could easily kill them. If they fail, they drown. If they succeed, they're disposable. Many families in rural Colombia, Ecuador, and Peru never learn what happened to their sons. Meanwhile, Australia spends billions trying to fight the flow of narcotics. Yet the economic imbalance is impossible to ignore. A sub costing a fraction of its cargo's value creates a lopsided war. For every radar upgrade, the cartels invent new ways to disappear. Radar-absorbing paint, underwater exhaust systems, acoustic dampeners, and signal spoofers. It is an arms race where every advance by authorities is met with an equal or greater adaptation from the cartels. The war beneath. Deep under the Pacific, hundreds of unmarked vessels move each year. Authorities see only a fraction. These submarines carry not just drugs but routes, intelligence, financial pathways, and strategic opportunities for the expanding global underworld. When one sub is captured, another is already under construction. When one crew dies, 2 more are recruited. When one route is disrupted, the cartels carve a new one across the sea. Australia now stands at the edge of an invisible war, a war conducted with chemistry, engineering, data, and money. And the enemy swims silently beneath the waves. Beneath the surface of the Pacific, a silent fleet continues to sail, unseen and unclaimed by any nation. They carry no flags and dock at no ports, yet they shape the future of transnational crime with every journey. Each vessel is a symbol of innovation born from illegality, of desperation refined into engineering. And each one is a reminder that the ocean hides more than mysteries. It hides economies. You've been watching Crime Cipher. Faceless, respectful, relentless. If this decode dragged you beneath the waves, subscribe, hit the bell, and comment Narcos subs. Every clue unlocks a darker truth.